Facebook Live is not about me talking about grammar or vocabulary or like an English lesson. This is mainly for teachers, and this Facebook Live is going to be a little bit in Spanish and English as well. Okay, so I'm going to wait a little bit for more people to come and join us. Okay, I think I'm back on Facebook finally after taking a long break. Well, break. I've been working, but I didn't maybe organize my time well, so I couldn't be on Facebook or Instagram as much as I wanted. But I'm here today and I want to say hi and hello a todos los que están aquí presentes. This Facebook is mainly for teachers, okay? As I said before, I'm going to be sharing some of the problems that I had when I started teaching English. I started this amazing journey in 2000. I was 20 years old. I was young. And gosh, I didn't have much experience. You know, when you go to university, everything that you study is like theory, but then you have to work. And that's when real life starts, right? And that's when you maybe confirm that what you have studied was the right thing, or maybe you said, no, this is not for me. I'm not going to continue. Okay, so I want to say hello to Ashraf. Hello, Ashraf. I'm very well, thank you. I'm a bit tired, as you can see. I have a baby, he's 1 year old, so it is difficult to organize my time. Right now, for example, it's 8 o'clock in Madrid, and Ian, my baby, and my husband are in the living room. He's crying now. And I have to keep working. This is part of my job. And because this is the way I connect to people, you know. In the past, if you want people to see you, or I don't know, see you, you have to go on TV, you have to pay ads on the newspaper, but now you can do this for free on Instagram or Facebook. And I've chosen Facebook because I started here, and I have, I think, a lot of followers, but the numbers is nothing, you know, it's just a number. It's the connection that we have with the people that makes things important. Okay, so I want to start right now, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself. Maybe you are new to my page. My name is Roxana. I am from Peru, but I've been living in Spain since 2015. Okay, so my teaching experience started in Peru. Okay, Spanish is my mother tongue, it's my first language. So English is something that I started. I started learning English when I was, I don't know, maybe 11. Oh, my baby is crying. 11 years old, okay. And it was very difficult. Yes, it was. Many years ago, if you really wanted to study a language or anything, you need to buy books and to pay for different things, you know, but now everything is for free on internet. So, okay, so this Facebook Live is for teachers, okay? So if you're a teacher, or maybe you're thinking about teaching English or studying this, maybe this could be for you. If you know somebody who would be interested in this, you can also tag a friend or share the live on your Facebook. And if you do that, thank you very, very much. Okay, so hello, Amel. Hello, hello. Okay, so 2 things. Remember that English is not my first language, okay? I speak Spanish, and I started learning English when I was very young. And also I started teaching English when I was 20, okay? In my country, when you study education, you need to work 1 year for free. Okay, yeah, for free. And I was very lucky or unlucky, but I taught 2 years for free in a public school. Sometimes when I was younger, I used to really say, why do I need to work for free? I need the money. But now, after all the experience, I say, thank you, because I learned so much. So the first topic, today's topic is limited teachers' resources. Limited teachers' resources. So I finished my career. Okay, Roxana, you're going to teach this and this group and that group. This is your teacher's book, your student's book, and the workbook. Okay? You're very, excited about the lesson, and you say, okay, so I have a teacher's book. Oh my God, teacher's guide. You feel like, woo. And then you see, oh my God, do I have to teach all this? I only have 9 months to teach all this. You have grammar, vocabulary, speaking activities, tests, mini tests, final tests, projects, and also a lot of grammar, and also, of course, the workbook. Okay, Roxana, you have to ask your students for homework, okay? And then you also have extra activities on the teacher's guide. And then you are really, okay, I think for me, from my experience, that was like, I need time to plan my lessons. And what happens is usually what the content that you have on the book is not what your students need, right? In Peru, if you work in a public school, okay, English is not, maybe now it has changed, but when I started in 2000, English was like, okay, yes, they can study English, whatever. Let's choose a book and some grammar and go ahead. The students, they don't speak English, they hardly understand English, but you have a book to teach and you need to follow 1A, 1B, 1C, etc. It is crazy. It was crazy for me. At the beginning, I didn't know where to start and how to handle all that information. So first, the book was boring, okay? Full of grammar. And English or any language is not only grammar, English is more than that. First, you need to think about if you're going to study a second language, it's because you want to communicate, you want to talk, you want to be able to talk about yourself, to talk about things that you like, you want to talk about you, You don't want all the time to study grammar and then the lists of adjectives, and then we are going to have a mini test about the verbs. Really? Really, do my students need all that? They want to communicate. They want to talk about their favorite singer, maybe their boyfriend or their girlfriend, the things they like, the things they hate. Okay, and of course you need grammar for that, no? I like dancing, okay? I don't like this. Okay, you need grammar, but first you need to concentrate. What do my students need, okay? They need to talk. You want to listen to them. You want them to interact, right, with you in the lesson. So I remember clearly having the book and it's like, my God, this book is horrible. Not many pictures, boring, grammar. So have have a deep look at the scope and sequence of the book. Okay, the scope and sequence is the first part of the book. No, when it says Unit 1, introduce yourself. Unit 2, Unit 3, and then the grammar, the vocabulary, listening skills, speaking skills, etc. Study that. Okay, try to think about what's important for me at the end of the month or at the end of a term or the year. Highlight the grammar points that you think your students will need. Okay, don't think about week by week because it's hard. I think the best option is to think about monthly or maybe every 3 months. I want my students to be able to. Okay, so every book at the beginning, they all have personal information, the verb to be, and nationality, numbers, colors. Okay, so the first part is I want my students to be able to talk about themselves. I mean, their family members, their likes, dislikes, simple things, okay? Well, simple. We think that is easy, but nothing is really easy, okay? I hate that word. Oh, that's easy. Easy for you, but I'm starting, so this is difficult, no? Okay, so highlight the vocabulary and the grammar part. Okay, I'm going to choose this and that, highlight that. I think every teacher should have a notebook for every group that you're going to teach, okay? Concentrate on one unit. Unit 1, introduce yourself. That sounds easy, no? Introduce myself. Hello, my name is Roxana. I am from Peru. Okay, but that's not easy because the verb to be, I think, is the most difficult part. Remember, the verb to be can be in present, past, future, present perfect, etc. So choose one unit, okay? And choose the unit of the book, have a look at the workbook, and have a look at the teacher's book at the same time. Okay, do they have the same content? Does the workbook, give me some practice about what the book has? What about the teacher's guide? Okay, does it offer useful and communicative activities for my students about this unit? I'm talking about this because I remember clearly when I had a look at the book, I looked at the teacher's book and I was like, really? This activity is not for this. How do I match these two activities together? They don't work together. It's like the teacher's book was written isolated from the book, So sometimes you have to say goodbye to the teacher's guide or goodbye to some activities, and that comes when you start creating your activities that are suitable for your students and also for yourself, okay? Because maybe you can see a crazy activity, this activity is going to be good, I think my students will like, but maybe if you are starting teaching, maybe your classroom management is not like, wow, okay? So those crazy activities maybe won't be the best option at the beginning, okay? I've always liked communicative activities, but sometimes it means working groups, working pairs, or A, B, A, B. And then oh my God, what are they doing? They're standing up. They're talking in Spanish. They are not speaking English. Don't complicate your life. Start with practical activities for you first, because you need to know what you're doing, and then also for your students. Okay, so I repeat again. Choose one unit, have a look at the workbook and the teacher's guide, and see if they offer the same thing for your students. Okay, now decide, okay, have a look at the book and decide which activities you think, really, I don't need this activity. So cross that out and write no. You don't need to follow 1A, 1B, 1C. Maybe you can go from 1 to 4. You can do that, because that depends on your students. Your students they are going to guide you. They are going to tell you where to stop, which activities need to be repeated, and which activities are useless. Okay? Remember that every group is different. And sometimes maybe you dream about one activity, and when you go to the classroom, it's a disaster. That has happened to me many times. That's why you need to get to know your students first. Okay, so have a look at the activities and decide this and that activity, no. And maybe you can highlight, this activity, okay, this one, I think they will like, I think it sounds okay. And choose the activities that are going to enrich your lessons, okay? Now, it depends on the teacher, and also it depends on the school that you're working at, but the best option is to have an entry exam. What do you think? Now, when you go to a classroom, you meet your students, and when I talk about an entry exam, I'm not thinking about this is the first day of the year, okay? The first lesson they have with you. And straight away you say, okay, I want to test your level of English. So now everybody be quiet, because I'm going to give you a test. Oh, that's horrible. I used to hate that when I was a student. I always thought, why? I mean, this is the first time I'm looking at your face, and what comes from you is an entry test. I don't want a bloody entry test. I want to get to know you, teacher. How are you? Hello. How was the summer? How were the holidays? What were you doing? Or please tell us something about yourself, or talk to your students. The first day is so important to have a good connection and relationship with your students. Okay, so if you are planning on an entry exam, I think that's excellent. I also advise that, but not on the very first day that you're going to see them, because they're going to remember your face and remember test. And I think that's not very exciting, Oh, yes, I had my first English lesson. I had an exam. 1 second, I'm going to put this silent. Okay, that's Instagram. So, yeah, have an entry test or exam. Okay, but please don't do that on the very first day they're going to see you. Okay? Now, remember something, an exam or a test could be done in different ways. Okay? Those kind of tests that are like, everybody be quiet, pick up your pen or your pencil, I'm going to give you a paper. Really? What about if you start with a speaking test? Okay, maybe you ask them to to work together and to answer some simple questions like, come on, you tell me the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, now you continue, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, what else? Okay, what about the months of the year? Okay, what about your name and your last name? Can you ask her? Can you ask her her name? Things like that, because when you want to test their level of English, there are different ways to do it. Not always on a piece of paper. Okay, you can use an app. Okay, for example, the app that I like is oh gosh, I forgot. The app is the color of the app is blue. Okay, I will think about it now. But it has tests. Well, I have some tests that they go there and they click, 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 and they also listen to some parts of the exam, and then you have an exam, in a different way. Or you can have like a prompt on your whiteboard or maybe your virtual board, and you have the same questions for everybody, and they have a piece of paper and they need to look at the visual aid and choose A, B, or C. Okay? Try to be creative, because remember that they are going to remember the entry test forever. Okay? And don't concentrate only on grammar. You can evaluate or test their speaking abilities, how they, what kind of questions do they ask each other? What about body language, eye contact? Let's see if they are creative when they ask questions, etc. Now, I remember when I started teaching English, they gave me different groups, okay? I think, yeah, the group that I liked the most, I think they were sixth grade. Yeah, sixth grade. Okay, and there was a student. Oh my God, he was brilliant. Okay, brilliant. He had an excellent level of imagination. But if you ask him to sit down and to complete a grammar activity, he will freak out. Really. But if you ask him, hi, how are you? He would like, good, very good, teacher. Yes, today my mom, things like that, just chunks or words. But he wanted to talk. But I said, okay, can you write now a sentence? A sentence? Why? I can tell you my idea, And that's why when I used to evaluate that student, I was only evaluating in an oral way, okay, asking questions or looking at pictures. Tell me which is, okay, can you choose A or B? Things like that. He didn't want to write so much. If your school is very flexible on how you can evaluate, you can do that, I think. Okay, so you have the entry test, no? Then you go home, very tired. your second day of teaching, very, very tired. And you say, oh, I decided to have an entry test. So now I need to correct. I need to sit down for hours to correct all the entry tests, or maybe to listen to the audios you recorded when they were practicing, The results of the entry tests are important. Not because not because you're going to have a look at the test and say, Maria, okay, bad. Peter, wow, amazing. Peter, Maria, bad. No, you don't study the results in that way. First of all, I think the best idea is to cover the name of the student. Look at only the answers, okay, and see how many answers were right or wrong according to one topic. So, for example, if you have a look at the test, you say, many people, many of my students are making mistakes about do and does. Okay, so I need to concentrate on present simple. They got it wrong, and they say, for example, in Monday instead of Monday. Prepositions. Have a look at the test, highlight the common mistakes you see, and then maybe you can say, okay, before I start with the book, I'm going to start with a review or practice about the common mistakes my students had on the test. Okay? And you can also do that in different ways. And now that we have social media, internet at schools, I think teachers' life is not as complicated as it used to be. Okay, so for example, something that I like doing with my students, and I also give advice to other teachers, is to use Twitter or LinkedIn. Yeah. You write the word you need to work on or the grammar you need to work on, hashtag, and for example, hashtag verb to be or hashtag I am. And then you will see all the examples, and you can maybe take pictures, show them on internet, show them on the board, and they can have a look. Now, when you highlight the mistakes they have made, please don't embarrass your students. I say, this example was taken from Maria. Yes, Maria. Your answer was incorrect. Please don't do that. I don't know why some teachers like to name students when they make mistakes in front of everybody. That's so embarrassing. I think teachers, we shouldn't do that. I think it's not professional. If you are talking about some mistakes, you can say, well, I have observed that we are making some mistakes about this and that. So we're going to practice. Okay, we're going to practice and review. Here I have some examples. Here I have some pictures. Here I have some posts from Instagram, and we're going to see blah, blah, blah. You have different resources, okay, to do that. For example, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can use the BBC. You can also write it down. You can do tons and tons of things in different ways. Now, something that I used to do, because I don't teach at the schools anymore, is I remember I used to, because it was many years ago, I used to write down this mistake, and I used to change some things, so they don't see, oh, that's my sentence, and on a piece of paper. Okay, and then I say, okay, we're going to work in pairs or we're going to work in groups, and I'm going to give you some pieces of paper. You're going to read the sentences and tell me, or work in pairs and tell each other what's wrong. How can you change those sentences? Okay, and maybe then you can say, okay, now we're going to work in groups. Then you can ask some students to come to the board and to write down the sentences so everybody can see them. Okay, so now remember that, number one, you don't need to follow every single activity from the book. And please, if you have a workbook, don't look at the workbook as a piece of homework. Okay, oh, homework, yes, a workbook, page number 5. Okay, and tomorrow, number 6. Okay, no, because in that way they will think that workbook is just homework, so it's boring. No, maybe you are lucky and you're working with very good textbooks, and the workbook has different resources, so you can also practice with some activities from the workbook during the class. Remember that. So And also, you have to decide if the teacher's guide is not suitable, or maybe it is suitable for your class. Okay, you can now choose activities from many parts of the internet. Okay, for example, I think there is a website called Teachers Pay Teachers, teachers.pay.teachers.com, and you can buy resources, and there are some resources for free, very, very good resources that you can use in your class. Okay, there are different places where you can download activities, songs, visual aids, flashcards. Okay, some of them are free, okay, and others you have to pay. But I think it is useful if you invest in something that you are going to have forever, and you won't think too much about the activity because you already have many things on your computer. So now, students are not always motivated, right? It is difficult to say, oh, for example, when I started teaching English, I was like, oh my God, my first class, my first lesson, my first group. Oh gosh, I'm going to prepare this and that. But I don't think students are tomorrow I'm going to school. I don't think they're doing that, So we need to motivate our students. We need to give them something so they can be excited about the next lesson or the next time they see you. Okay. Remember that motivation I think is everything. Okay, is everything. Motivation from the teacher and also from the student. So how can I motivate my students? Okay, different activities. Okay, and also taking your time. Sometimes we think about activities and we want to have this activity and that and that and that. No, calm down. Choose one activity, and if you see they liked that activity, do it again, and have a competition and do it one more time. You can repeat the same activity. If you see they are having a good time, do it again. Okay, carry on, motivate your students. Now, we also have limited time. If you want to do everything that you see on the course book, I think you're going to have a problem. Okay, because time is limited. Yes, we don't have all the hours that we want to teach, So highlight what your students need. Highlight the things that you know will provide them value, okay? Concentrate on communicative activities. Now, when you think about teaching, you need to think about your resources. What are my resources? You are part of the resource, okay? You can have an amazing book. You can have the best book, okay? And an amazing workbook. Oh, and the classroom and the board. Whew, yeah. And what about your voice projection? What about your body language? What about your eye contact? What about the way you communicate? What about the instructions you're giving to your students? Are they clear enough for them to follow? So one thing is to have the perfect book, but concentrate first on you. Think about how are you teaching, what language you are using. Maybe that is easy or difficult for your students to follow. Think about that carefully. When I started teaching English, I was young. I was excited, okay, about teaching English. But I really didn't think about all those details. What about the book and the workbook, my voice projection, my handwriting, the number of students, that activity? No, I just wanted to speak English. And no, shh, you want your students to talk, okay? You want them to do the talking, not you. You're going to guide them only, okay? You're going to observe, you're going to listen carefully and take some notes mentally, you know, so you can help them in the future. Okay, so my advice, choose one unit from the course book, have a look at the workbook and the teacher's guide, see what you can highlight, okay? Don't do every single activity that you see on the book. Don't see the workbook as a piece of homework, because they will hate the workbook and they will say, oh, I forgot my workbook, because teacher, you think the workbook is the homework, and I think that's not right. Think about social media, okay? Every single person on earth is on social media. And if you want to get your students' attention, you have to show them social media, okay? You have now TikTok, funny videos on TikTok that last 15 seconds. So you can show them mini videos about people introducing themselves, talking about blah, blah, blah. That's a communicative activity. You can ask them to record a mini video. You can do so many things. So don't concentrate only on the teacher's guide and the workbook. Teacher's guide and the workbook. No, you can use resources also on teachers pay teachers, as I said before. Okay. You can also create your own virtual board. I have one virtual board. I think I'm going to write it down. One sec. Padlet.com. Okay. I pay that yearly, but my students don't pay anything. So the content from my lessons are there. Right now, I don't teach at the school. I teach online maybe. So I don't write lesson plans. I organize my lessons. Excuse me. I organize my lessons and I use Padlet.com to have my content there, okay? If I see something that I know is going to be useful, or a pretty picture, things like that, I try to organize my lessons on Padlet.com. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I also talk about the website teachers.com. You can find is it right or wrong? Yeah. You can find free resources and also paid resources. And there are other websites that you can find different resources. Now, also, if you want some free content on my website, okay, okay, so that is mine, englishwithmissroxy.com. You have also a category that says teachers, okay, and I have some freebies, okay, some awards, stickers. I think you will like it. So if you want to have a look, you can download them for free at englishwithmissroxy.com, okay? And also there's a freebie called 2020, all the PDF pictures. Have a look, have a look. Okay, so before I finish, motivation, okay? Motivation is, as I said before, I think it's everything, okay? It comes 50% from your students and from yourself. How you organize your lessons, how you plan your activities, timing, and using the correct language when you give instructions, okay? So, every Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about these kind of things that I faced when I started teaching English. It was very difficult because also I had to concentrate on my level of English. I was 20 years old, and I was, at uni, etc. But I was also feeling afraid of my grammar mistakes or pronunciation mistakes. And that happens to everybody, I think, especially if English is not your first language, okay? So I'm going to be talking about that on the next live. So today we talk about limited teachers' resources. I remember that was me in 2000, but now in 2020, I don't think we can say, oh my God, limited teachers' resources. No, unlimited. And that is also, I think, a problem because we have so many websites, podcasts, and videos to share with our students that we don't know which one is the best. No, we get crazy about that. Hello, Hector. How are you? Long time not see. Okay, so remember that now this page, English with Miss Roxy, is also for teachers. So today, my first live of 2020 is for teachers. And on next Wednesday, I'll be talking about losing control of the classroom, about classroom management. And then I'll be talking about my students. They never do the homework. Why? And then my level of English is not good. Those were the problems that I faced when I started teaching English. And of course, you could also be talking about the problems you faced when you started learning English. So as you see, sometimes we concentrate too much on the student, but what about the teacher? Hello, we also have problems. We don't feel secure all the time. There are things we need to work on. If you are a teacher, you always need to, keep updating your CV, going to conferences, reading different books, listen to this and that in order to be updated. So, and that demands a lot. Hello, Hector. That demands a lot. So, teaching English in Peru in 2000 was not easy. Was very difficult. Okay. Everything that I thought that I could need, I had to pay. Now, if you want something, you go on internet and you can download that for free, or you can buy something for €3, $4. But before, if I had to buy something for my classroom, I had to go to an American store, okay, and the materials were so expensive, but that was the only way I could get something. But now you have Amazon, you have internet, you can buy something from Australia, from Canada, and your lesson could be brilliant, right? So before I finish, remember that these Facebook Lives are mainly for teachers. But if you're a student and you want to know what happens when we start teaching English, stay here, okay? So remember that my website, www.englishwithmeroxy.com, you can find free resources for teachers, okay? Free, completely free, that I have been working on. I like creating visual aids on Canva. I don't know if you know Canva is a platform that you can create many things, okay? Canva.com, and also PowerPoint. I really like PowerPoint. I spent hours on PowerPoint because my idea is to also, of course, have something to offer to people. What I post on Instagram or Facebook, those colorful pictures with the name and all that, some teachers have asked me, hey, Roxy, where can I get them? Where can I buy them? And before I was like, no, I'm not selling them. But now things are changing. Okay, I will tell you that later, but I'm working on something that I'm sure if you're a teacher and you're starting this challenging but amazing journey, that will be useful. Okay, so thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your time. See you next Wednesday at the same time, 8 p.m. Madrid time. Okay, so next Wednesday, we're going to talk about losing control of the classroom, and it means classroom management. Okay, so if you have a question about this, about the course book, the workbook, please, you can type a comment, okay, and we can be talking about that on my stories on Instagram. I really like Instagram. I don't know if all of you are on Instagram now, but I use that daily. And I also have this mini series, Vocabulary on the Go. So I've just posted some videos, so you can have a look on Instagram. I also repost them on Facebook, but sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. It's nearly it's nearly 9 p.m. and I am ready now to, if you can, that's my baby again. Okay, so that's motherhood. Tiring, but also beautiful. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much and see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.